welcome back to my channel, Reacting Jill. I'm Tika. So last time on This Is Us, we got that revelation at the end of the episode that Jack had a brother. I did mention that I don't think they'd mentioned about anything about his brother before, and clearly he was in the Vietnam War with him, so I'm not sure if he had died during the war, if something had happened, but we could see that he had played a large role in technically bringing him up, as his father seemed to have been quite absent. Wasn't as active member in their life as he should have been. Not like how Jack is very much involved in both Randall and Kevin's lives. So Jack had taken the boys on a camping trip, hoping to kind of bring them a little bit closer together. And at the same time, that's when obviously they got the call about his own father nearing the end of his life. So fortunately, Jack had made the decision that he wasn't going to leave his kids for somebody who was dead to him. Which is an absolute fair statement, and even Rebecca had alliterated that by mentioning how, not just to his father but to him, that it's a miracle he turned out the way he did, considering how he was raised, and the fact that she even said to his father that don't worry, he never messed him up. But I do believe that there was some sort of regret, because you could see the look in his face when he was a bit shocked when he had met Rebecca and obviously saw Kate, one out of the 1/3 of his grandchildren. The other thing, obviously to do with the revelation that he had a brother, Nicky, is I'm wondering, of course he had met Rebecca after he had met Rebecca after, so I'm wondering if Rebecca has any recollection, if she even knows who Nicky is, if he's ever mentioned it before. And obviously back in present day, I like that there was I forgot to mention last time, there's another similarity between Kevin, how Kevin's now using drinking as a form of coping mechanism to do with what's coming up, all the emotions that have come up, remembering his dad, obviously that knee injury that had happened on set, that kind of brought everything up, meeting Sylvester, like all of that stuff, ever since that had happened, it seems to have stuck with him. And on top of that, he's becoming a little bit addicted to Vitakin. This unfortunately is not ruined, but it's kind of messing with his relationship. He doesn't open up, which is so similar to how Jack was when he started drinking. He was trying to suppress down the pressures of raising 3 kids, having to hold down that job, and all of that stuff that was going on. It's very similar, very exact similar situation and stuff that he was going through. We had that breakthrough with Randall and Deja, where she finally had an opportunity to sort of open up to him, and it was kind of good because Randall was talking about how he was trying his best to get her to like him, and here she had the opportunity to sort of finally open up to him and tell him a little bit about not herself but what she doesn't like. So that was actually kind of a good breakthrough for him, because Randall at some point feels like he was ripping his hair from his roots. And finally, Kate, after she had that little bit of a collision, I forgot her name, in her support group, she finally had the courage to sort of talk, even though it was to strangers. She got Toby to finally express publicly his happiness about the pregnancy, which is actually quite nice, because it meant, I guess, she was afraid to be too hopeful if it didn't work out, but now that she kind of had the opportunity to tell somebody, she kind of wanted more people to know. So that was kind of good for them, and they were able to sort of talk about it more openly. Now here we are with episode 6, the 20's.
We don't need a map. We're not gonna get lost trick-or-treating in our own neighborhood.
It's not about getting lost, it's about maximizing our house to candy ratio.
Daddy, do I have to be a vet? I want to be Sandy from Greece. Pretty Sandy, not tough Sandy.
Okay, yeah, you could be pretty Sandy. Mom can handle that, right?
Jack, I just finished your costume. You have to stop doing that with Kate.
Doing what?
Saying yes to anything that she wants.
You're accusing me of being too easy on Kate when you treat Randall like a glass figurine.
I do not.
No.
It's weird you mentioned that, and this is probably where Kevin gets his inferiority complex, because you got Randall, like his mom was, we all know that how Rebecca was very much the way she treated Randall, how she looked after him, how she was very, and then Kate has the most closest relationship with her father. He can't say no to her, she's his little girl. And obviously you've got Kevin, who never had that sort of full attention from either or parent. It kind of be glossed over, and I suppose it didn't help that he was probably the most likable. They assumed that, he was fine, he was getting on well with stuff, he was very popular with the kids. And obviously you had both Randall and Kate struggling with different reasons on either side of the spectrum, but he still never got the full attention of his parents. And it's crazy. I just thought about that now. I just thought about that now once they kind of were trying to call each other out. 20's.
Get you some coffee?
I think he would be in LA because he's like.
What's the pressure? Too hard, too soft?
No, you can go harder.
Yeah?
Got a future here, Kevin.
I wonder how old they were in 2008. Ah, 28. There we go. Doing some quick maths.
Stay. Talk for a while.
Okay. So what's new? You trick-or-treating tonight, or?
Broke the damn fan.
Oh, baby, it's October. You don't need a ceiling fan in the nursery?
No, we need air circulation back. You know what? I just gotta get this fan thing off my mind. Sorry.
He's gonna come through. He always comes through.
I forgot which one of his daughters is that, Tess or Annie?
Ta-da! Hey guys, let's go.
This is stupid. I don't want to use Randall's weird map. I want to go to Johnson's haunted house first.
No, we have to use my map to get to the good candy first. But everything's so perfectly up.
Hey, Randall, it's fine, okay? We'll use the map. I did promise him, Jack.
Guys, get your pillowcases, go. Come on, Randall, get your pillowcases.
I like their costumes.
This is exactly what I was talking about.
Jack.
No, it's too rigid.
No.
And it's getting worse.
No, he's not rigid.
Probably remembers her dad.
Dude! Hey, dude! I booked the Christian Bale movie. Congratulations, you know, that's it's good for you.
No, it's good for both of us, dude. Don't even worry about paying me back for rent last month, okay? Because this is all thanks to you. And you gotta come with.
Oh, no, dude, that's your fast lane now, man. That's your thing.
No. Come on. You are so talented. This is gonna happen for you. It is.
Hey, babe, why don't you take her luggage up?
On it.
I guess she's not with Miguel just yet.
I'm really glad you're here. It's been stressful with the baby, too. And just in case.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know you two are really loud with it. You haven't quite got that down yet. I'm gonna take that fan back and get a new one, and you guys can talk about me as loud as you want.
Randall.
But when I come back, let's be normal.
She's gonna ask Billy Palmer to go through the haunted house with her, and if it gets scary, he might hold her hand.
They canceled class tonight, so I thought I would take my new costume for a spin. It's nervous girl taking a chance. Cool.
Can we go someplace quieter?
Yeah, I live nearby.
Hey, this is my friend Kevin Pearson. He's an actor, too.
Hey, how are you? It's an honor to meet you, sir. You know what I loved? Hey, man, you killed it today. Come on, Laura wants to talk to you.
Oh.
She thought you were great.
You did not see him that morning, Rebecca. Just blind and weeping. And a million miles away.
Oh, when he gets knocked down, he gets right
You weren't
back.
there.
You're right. You know, my friends are telling me that I need to join something called Facebook to see all the baby pictures you're gonna post. Oh, they say that it's a good way to stay connected and feel a part of a community.
I can help you set it up.
Yeah?
But let's go to this house. That's the Larsons.
No, they talk too much. Let's just stay on my map.
He's very.
Hey, Randall, the plan is not set in stone. We can change it. We can improvise.
This doesn't work.
I can get you a new one.
It's for the baby. I got a baby coming tomorrow.
Just
I had a breakdown a couple of months ago.
Oh.
You know, nervous, mental, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not the same. It's like, whoa, I can't be in charge of a universe. I can't even hang a ceiling fan, turns out.
But what they don't tell you is that babies come with the answers. They tell you who you are.
It's crazy because this conversation brings us all back to his inability. Just basically, early signs are showing in his childhood about how everything needs to be planned and in control. And of course, he made the comparison himself. I'm guessing this is similar to the breakdown he had when he was trying to deal with his father's cancer, his biological father's cancer, and then everything was just getting to him and he had that breakdown, and that's probably the second time in his life that he had something like that. So it's quite sweet to see that he can't seem to, and I suppose a part of it's also a shame, embarrassment. Like, he's probably not spoken to Beth about it. He doesn't know how to tell, like, he doesn't know how to communicate those feelings. Almost shameful, like, I'm gonna be a father and yet here I am not getting my shit together. So therefore he's fixating on this whole fan situation, getting the fan right. You know, if he gets the fan right, he'll hopefully be a good father once his child comes. And I think it's just all connected.
No, we're inducing tomorrow. This isn't supposed to happen until tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I called 911, but the roads are blocked for Halloween.
that baby's coming.
It's happening.
Oh, so improvised time, baby.
Thank you. Are you casting any more projects at the moment, or?
No, I just like to cast one movie at a time.
I was just curious. I mean, it's an interesting choice, going with Zeke. Well, because the character's described like this all-American handsome guy, right? And congratulations on, wow.
I thought I had you pegged already. Pretty boy, big deal in high school. But what I never figured you for was this. A guy that would steal his friend's part.
Oh.
How'd it go?
It was awesome. He had my hand really tight when the goblin jumped out.
Fighting that kid. He bribed him.
You just give Billy your candy so that you can hold hands with your sister in there?
I can always get more candy, Dad.
Did you and Dad lose the baby and just couldn't find it? What?
Huh?
That's what the Larson said. You had 3 babies and you lost one.
What the frick? What? I hope you go in there and punch him up.
He didn't live. Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes a baby dies right in the beginning, but you're not instead of anything.
Exactly.
You're the way it was always supposed to be.
Firstly, that other family need to mind their business.
Honey?
Yeah.
This isn't 2 months ago, or last week, or even this morning. This is now. And I see you, baby. It's a girl.
I wonder if he's genuine though, this guy. Probably not.
You're married, aren't you? I knew about it for a while, so I'm not judging you.
So, why'd you do this?
Just tired of waiting for things to feel right. And nothing has felt right in a long time.
Yeah, I could probably get away.
Oh shit. Oh, that guy must have told him that your friend is not a good friend. Shit.
And you weren't there, and I had to tell him everything. I wanted you to be there, you know? Because what's Cher without Sonny? That was one of the happiest moments of my life.
Oh.
But also your dad isn't here. But that's just something I'm gonna have to deal with for the rest of my life.
He probably would have taken credit for all that hair on her head. He got that.
True. Is it the fan? Does it say Tess? Is it? Yes! Tess!
If Randall figures his crap out, we're like 5 years away from you and me figuring out ours. Right? And I met that great new guy.
Yeah, and I'm crushing it. Crushing the 20's.
Also being in denial.
You really haven't had an audition in 6 months?
No, it's been more like a year, actually. You still sitting in your car, eating fast food, staring at where the house used to be.
That's what she was doing
God.
earlier.
You're a sweet girl. I wanted to properly welcome you to the world. You are this afternoon. That's your dad.
LA.
Fine. I know I'm the best hairstylist in town, so I'll do your hair.
Yes!
I'll put cold like Beyonce.
And if you're lucky, you can have it all. Or both. At our next beginning.
Voices one.
Yeah, that's I thought so. So he's not spoken to in 8 years. So that was episode 6. That was actually a really good episode, and I do like that it was kind of like almost not a halfway point, but just like Rebecca said at the end of that episode, ways to see new beginnings, especially to see that I did some quick maths and I figured out that that was roughly when they're around 28, so they would have had it was Halloween, so they would have had their 28th birthday. And you could see how they were at different stages of their lives. I really loved how we got to see how Kevin is actually, like that guy said. I was a bit confused. I didn't realise that his roommate got an actual role in the film, like an acting part. I thought he might have been he landed the job, like in terms of some sort of behind the scenes, and he was so happy. And it was the fact that, again, it's unfortunate, but Kevin's always kind of been like that. He can't be, if it's not happening for him. And it was actually a really rude thing to say, and that casting director called him out on that, and he was like, you're never going to work for me because I thought I had you figured out. But the fact that he would actually try and take a job from his friend, and clearly he must have told his friend, because the guy told him to leave. He basically told him that I ain't going to be paying for your rent. And it's just horrible the way that his mind was working, and the fact that we find out later on he barely got a audition for almost a year. So he almost felt that he could have fit up, like, in other words, it's like, if I couldn't get it, why couldn't somebody else? And that's just fueling his ego. So in a way, I'm glad that was kind of like a slap down for him, to make him realize that just because you may have the looks or X, Y, and Z, it's not always about you. I feel bad for Kate, and I did see we saw there's 2 instances in that when in her 20s, I think she was going to night school, so I'm not sure what she was, if it was something to still be a vet or a nurse or what it was. But when she was eating lunch in her car, I didn't realise she was looking at where the old house was, which, again, if I look at the Matt's part, it was about 10 years ago since their father, because they looked about 17, 18, so about 10, 11 years since Jack had died. And they kind of both called each other out at that point when they were there celebrating the birth of Tess. Now, I'm not sure if Randall, the way he was acting, and then how he was as a child, and how that's obviously developed into his adulthood, I don't know if he's on the spectrum. He's part of the neurodivergent community, especially how he was getting frustrated. He likes to stick to agreed set rules. He likes certain things the way they are, and even though at the beginning of the episode both Jack and Rebecca said, Rebecca was like, you can't always say yes to her, and the way you treat Randall, you can't always sort of cuddle him like that. We know the reasons for why Rebecca had done that, and I did make a comment in the reaction about how this sort of separation between the two is kind of almost missed off Kevin, how Kevin seemed to always be the one, from the outset it looked like he's the one that got on with people, and yet he was paid the least attention from either parent. So even though Rebecca wanted to abide by him, she said yes, she wanted to go ahead with the plan. I forgot the name of that family, but how the hell, how rude, that family dropping a bombshell on a 10-year-old. I do appreciate that Rebecca and Jack did want to tell him, they did want to talk about Kyle, they did want to explain that whole situation to him when he was a little bit older, and he believed that he's 10. I do think that they obviously don't realise it at the time, but Randall is much more mature beyond his years, the way his brain thinks, how he is, how his understanding. So firstly, those loud ass parents, I would have gone right over there saying, why are you opening your big ass mouth and talking about things that have nothing to do with you? So that really pissed me off. But it was sweet how this kind of comes back around again towards the end of the episode, where Rebecca was like, I wanted you to be there, Jack. We got into this as a team. We're always a team, reinforcing their team dynamic. I wanted you to be there. So when Tess was born, and Randall was worried about why his mom was crying. She was like, because Jack's not gonna be here. He's gonna miss all these moments. He's not gonna be here for these events, and he's not here to experience these, and it's just something that she's gonna have to deal with for the rest of her life. So, and obviously that meant her grandkids being born and other milestones that he probably would have missed since passing away up and through till whenever. I really did like how the fact that being the thought of having a child and all of that, the absolute enormity is enormous, got to Randall being someone who's about strict rules and having everything perfect. It broke him down. It's really scared him, but I do like how he was able to get through that at the end. Obviously it made Beth worry. Beth didn't know how to deal with that, how to help him with that, because it happened a couple of months ago. She even said to Rebecca, you weren't there, you don't understand what he had went through, but I'm glad that he was able to pull through. Speaking to that guy at the shop, and he was just saying, you know what, you can't, he was trying to ask, like, what do you do in this situation, how do you, like, raising children. And I do agree, there's no set method, there's no manual out there, but they also know what to do. So I liked how in that moment of chaos he was able to kind of be there for his family. And then I do like how we saw at the end of that when they were talking, and I think I mentioned this in a couple of reactions ago, how Kevin and Kate were the ones who didn't necessarily have their start. Like, we had Randall, who was in the big high paying job, like, he understood his job. Sidebar, he understood his job was like, I just lose out on money, but what happens if I don't do? I guess it was just that fear. And I suppose it doesn't help that with Rebecca and Jack, they used to balance each other out, with Rebecca coddling him, with Rebecca sort of like being a bit more yes with him. Jack would always be the more practical one to help him apply himself. So I guess him not being there for a lot of his early 20s to his late 20s, it didn't help appease Randall. And then obviously finally we saw when Kate had moved over to Hollywood, she becomes his personal assistant, but she was the one who suggested, why don't you do improv, why don't you do something different. So you can see that the twin part of the triplets, they had their own struggles. And I liked how in the Halloween thing, it was Kevin was always looking out for his sister, even though he believed that his dad was obviously worried, but Kevin was going to look out for him for his own way. And he went out of his way to give the guy all his candy. He was like, I'll get all my sweets back, but he didn't want to hurt his sister. It was kind of like the same thing where Rebecca was pointing out to Jack that you can't always say yes to her. There are certain things that she's not going to be able to get, and there are certain things that are not going to work out for her, but you can't expect her not to deal with rejection. And here, Jack, it's similar to Kevin and Jack again, very similar. Kevin gave that kid his sweets because he didn't want his sister to go through that rejection. He didn't want her to have to feel that, so I guess he made a deal with him before, and he'd rather appease his sister than allow her to get upset and feel sad in the moment. And Jack saw that, and I guess I don't know if it's something that Kevin might have picked up on Jack, but Jack definitely saw that, and maybe it kind of almost reflected him back on his own feelings and thoughts. No, but that was really, really good. We got a chance to see a little bit of what they were like, and yeah, I can't believe, again, it's to see how, I mean, one of my favourite highlights, I have to go back to this, two of my favourite highlights is, one, how we see that guy, that casting director rip into Kevin. Again, Kevin might be somebody that never got told no either, because he was the one who had friends, he was the popular one. He has not had that sort of sad reality hit him. That, of course, that beautiful, beautiful moment where after Kate had to explain to Randall about Carl, what had happened, and obviously she kind of had to explain as in his reason of being and trying to appease him as to what had happened in the past. And I loved, again, I knew they were alluding to something when she mentioned to Beth about Facebook. And then from that message, Miguel mentioned about how you've been these last 8 years. Again, I think it's been about 10 years. So I'm assuming they lost contact after they were in contact a little bit after Jack died, but they must have lost contact after. So that's always interesting to know as to what had happened, and potentially that's where that relationship had started. But yeah, that was a fantastic episode. Can't wait to see what happens next time. And if you did like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.